We've got big news around Anduril that could change the partnership with Archer Defence forever. Let's talk. Guys, today my eyes have been opened. I have news today around Anduril Industries that could change the partnership with Archer Defence going forward. So we know Archer Aviation as the company that wants to make eVTOLs a thing of the present. These air taxis will be all over the world passing public passengers. However, today we're focusing on the subsidy Archer Defence and their recent partnership with Anduril Industries for 430 million. What their plan is they're going to make hybrid VTOL aircrafts where they go after contracts of record with the Department of Defence or the DoD. I want to share some breaking news that has just come out around Anduril Industries. But before we do that, make sure to smash that subscribe button because we're going to hear more about this hybrid VTOL aircraft in the earnings call, which, you know what, we're going to stream. But anyway, before we do it, let's get into update us on the partnership and then we'll get into the massive news. Before you click off and do me for clickbait, I can promise you this is not the news. But I just want to keep your mind fresh on this partnership, so when I'm talking about the big news, you know what I'm on about. So, on December 12th, Archer announced their strategic partnership with Anduril to develop their hybrid VTOL military aircraft, and that raised an additional 430 million of capital. They're going building their next generation aircraft for defensive applications, and it's going to be a hybrid propulsion vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. This is going to target programs of record from the US Department of Defense. To help fund Archer Defense, they did raise the 430 million in additional equity capital. So with Archer's ability to rapidly develop advanced VTOL aircraft using existing commercial parts and supply chains, and Anduril's deep expertise in artificial intelligence, missionization, and systems integration, the partnership will accelerate speed to market for critical hybrid VTOL capabilities at a fraction of the cost of more traditional alternatives. Look, this is going to be an alternative to the likes of your military helicopters. Archer's total cash raise to date is 2 billion. So this 430 million additional raise is absolutely massive. So Anduril Arnold of Anduril said the rapid innovation and scalable production are critical for maintaining technological superiority. Anduril and Archer share common vision for advancing capabilities that meet urgent national security needs, and we look forward to partnering with Archer to bring vertical lift aircraft to our customer. Guys, looking at the Trump administration, their priorities have really gone into the defensive side of the country. So we can see there is going to be opportunities of contracts in the Department of Defense. Adam himself has said the Archer team has deep expertise in rapid design, engineering, and production of next generation vertical lift aircraft. With Anduril by our side and this new influx of capital, we will accelerate the development and deployment of advanced aerospace technologies at scale. Guys, when this first broke, I was a little bit confused and mind blown why they've sort of pivoted into the defensive side of the aerospace business. But with this news today, it's kind of like throwing my head again. And before we get into it, I want you to tell me, are you bullish on the Archer defensive side of the business? Or would you prefer them just to concentrate on the air taxi side of the business? It's one thing that I think I could debate for days why it's good to not dilute your resources around. However, I can see where they're going with this, and we're going to get right into it now. So I know I said I'd get into the big news straight away. However, it did cross my mind as I was recording that recently Redwire Space announced an acquisition of Edge Autonomy. And I know you're going to say this is completely different, but Edge Autonomy do VTOL aircraft and they're primed for the defensive sector. This was a 950 million deal. Now, the reason I'm showing this is the Department of Defense are constantly looking at new companies to develop VTOL aircrafts. Yes, these concentrate on UAVs, and this is going to be completely different to the hybrid VTOL that Archer is designing. However, with Archer Aviation, using that first mover advantage and being a first mover into this defensive sector for a hybrid VTOL, do you think they're going to be one of the dominators in this space? Let me know. Now, I promise you, let's get on to the news. So here we have it. The big news today. Anduril are in talks for over 28 billion valuation to have a new funding round. Now, we're going to read this press release, and then we're going to see how this is going to benefit Archer Defense. So, Anduril Industries are looking to double their valuation to more than 28 billion, and this would be looking to raise 2.5 billion in additional capital. They've already raised 1.5 billion just a few months ago, so this is going to be an additional equity raise, and I don't know if Anduril investors will be particularly happy with this, but I'll let you know why I am as an Archer investor. So this is backed by billionaire Peter Thiel, and he's set to lead this deal. Anduril are long advocated for shaking up the current Pentagon procurement processes to introduce more new technology. Anduril is currently planning to set up a factory in Ohio. And guys, what else in Ohio? We have the Covington, Georgia factory for Archer Aviation. And they're going to build autonomous weapon systems. The California-based company expects to invest $1 billion into this new facility. And this isn't just any facility. They're saying this can be 87 football fields big. Guys, is this going to make Covington, Georgia look tiny? However, what's even more interesting is the 28 billion valuation in Anduril's latest round doesn't include the latest funding. But why is this important for Archer Defense? Guys, the more capital Anduril has, the more capital they're willing to spend in developing these hybrid VTOL aircrafts. If you get a juggernaut like Anduril coming in, helping plough capital into a defensive side of the business that Archer can't wholly focus on, this can be absolutely massive, and it'll create even more opportunities for getting Archer Defense out there. But guys, let me know, do you think this is a good move by Anduril to raise even more capital, or are you completely bearish on the whole prospect of going after this defensive side of the business? Now, I've got an interesting one for you. Do you think we'll hear about the hybrid VTOL in the earnings call? If you think so, please hit that like button. And guys, if you want to know more about that Redwire acquisition of Edge Autonomy and why they're entering the VTOL space, make sure to watch this video next.